Donald Trump and RFK Jr. have promised to make America healthy again. And with Robert Kennedy, we've seen he's going to head HHS. So how are the pair going to deliver for American families? Here to break it down for us is Terry Schilling. He's the president of the American Principles Project, and he wrote about this for the Blaze.com. So Terry, right, you argue this, that they're going to fight for American families. RFK Jr. is going to be leading that fight. So how exactly is he going to do that?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Jill. What RFK Jr. represents and is the same thing that Donald Trump represents, which is a disruption in Washington, D.C. And it's no mystery to any of us that our children are under attack for a very simple reason. They need to recruit their political activists for the future, the leftists. They're not getting married. They're not having kids of their own. And so what they want to do is they want to confuse our kids on gender. They want to hop them up with all these different types of drugs to make them sick. The Make America Healthy Again agenda is absolutely a necessary component for the Make America Great Again. We can't be great if we're not healthy. And HHS, Health and Human Services, needs to get cleaned up. And RFK Jr. is the perfect guy to do it. He's made, listen, there's been the real thrust of this is there's been concerns about RFK and how conservative he is. After all, he is a Democrat that crossed party lines and joined President Trump in his ticket. He's pro-life. He's made serious commitments to the pro-life movement. He's made serious commitments to the pro-family movement by getting puberty blockers investigated and researched and all the data from the NIH released about those. He's a fantastic pro-life, pro-family, center-right nominee and absolutely necessary to President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda.
Terry, we were just talking to Chris Bedford about the confirmation process and fight that's about to unfold. This one is interesting to me because regardless of everything you just said or anyone who is a fan, he is a polarizing figure when it comes to public health in this country. And we've seen the power of the powers that be, right, these days, censoring everyone in America for decisions they make when it comes to their health. So how do you see the confirmation process going for him?
Well, I would issue a very strong warning to especially Republicans, but also Democrats that look to stand in the way of RFK Jr.'s nomination. Doc, as you know, I work very closely and well with a lot of the donor class in this country. They've helped build APP into a very serious organization. They're not messing around. Right. And people want to get this country turned around. They want to get HHS cleaned up. And RFK is part of that. And so any senator that's looking at holding up this agenda and holding up President Trump, they better think twice because donors are ready to fund strong primary challengers. But you and I both know, Doc, what the real opposition here is, and that is to power. Right. We have these corrupt people in power that are making tons of money by making this country sick, by making our children sick and our parents sick. And we've got to clean this up. RFK Jr. is like the penultimate Democrat in this country. And it's not a coincidence that it's largely the Democrats that are trying to stand in the way of his nomination. It's because he's one of the last remaining honest Democrats, right? He's not one of these guys like Schumer that's been totally bought out and corrupted. All the guy has been criticized for lately has been asking to do research and the full gamut when it comes to vaccines, right? He's not saying don't get vaccinated. He's saying we need to look into this and see if it's actually causing the problems that people claim it is. But he's a robust disruptor. It's exactly what this town needs at the right time.
Well, Terry, you say that, and I just think back to the problems and the issues that people have and the trust that they have right now in the public health institutions, right? How do we go about rebuilding that? You almost need a guy like RFK Jr. that is a complete outsider to rebuild that trust because right now, at this point in time, it is so diminished from where it once was.
No, that's exactly right. And COVID exacerbated that, right? The response from our federal officials and state and local officials on the COVID front greatly hurt any credibility or faith that the American people had in these already lacking institutions. It's very, very good. Listen, our strongest attribute here is transparency. It's the best disinfectant here. And that's what RFK Jr. is going to do, is he's going to bring transparency at a minimum to Health and Human Services to clean it all up. If we get this information out there and we disseminate it on these new platforms that allow for free speech, that allow for open debate, which apparently Facebook is one of those now. So we now have X and Facebook to get the truth out now. So we've got a huge opportunity to really show the American people just how corrupt things have gotten and how much change is actually needed in this country.
Terry, I want to press a little bit on the pro-life point because I think it was a very interesting article for this reason. There's a lot of people in our audience who are part of the pro-life movement and have been for their entire lives. And they may like RFK, and they see that he's not your normal Democrat. He supports restricting abortion after a certain period of time. But it doesn't seem like he's your quintessential pro-lifer, right? And he maybe doesn't agree with everything that they've been fighting for. And so their concern has been, okay, well, if he's in charge of HHS, are there policies related to Planned Parenthood and other things? And what you're saying is, no, this guy's going to be good. Is that right?
No. That's right. And Doc, he's not just going to be good because I say it. He's going to be good because of what he said. Mm-hmm. He told Josh Hawley in a meeting about a month ago that he would reinstate President Trump's pro-life policies that he had at HHS in his first administration. Right? And I think that's very important. And don't forget, Doc, RFK Jr., while he might have run as a pro-choice Democrat in the Democratic primary, he also has said things on public record that every abortion is a tragedy. This is not someone that was passionate about abortion or encouraging people to shout their abortion. This is someone that's always been uncomfortable with abortion, but probably felt as a necessity to be the Democratic nominee that he had to hold that position. And what rectifies that is the only thing that can rectify that, which is public pledges to do the right thing, to do the pro-life thing. And also, Doc, don't forget, RFK Jr. serves at the pleasure of the president. He is there to support President Trump's agenda and not his own. And so I think, and he's also pledged, by the way, not only to defund organizations that promote and perform abortions, he's also pledged to only name pro-life deputies underneath him. So he's made some really robust promises and pledges to the pro-life community and to America. And so I'm totally satisfied, and I look forward to working with him.
Terry, as we're a week away now from the inauguration. I was going through some of my videos this morning, and I posted one on X today of the Pennsylvania when that was announced in the room at Trump headquarters that night. And there you were just celebrating in the room. We're almost there, my friend. We are almost there. Just one more week to go. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Matt, when you listen to him, and I like that he went out and just... You had that point and counterpoint about RFK Jr. and the pro-life stuff. And remember that he does serve at Trump's pleasure, right? It's going to be something that Trump wants. It's not really going to be what RFK Jr. thinks is best in every scenario.
Yeah, and I think what Terry is saying is they've made their peace and figured out where their views overlap. And there are enough public promises and there's enough people in place in the Trump administration where no one should be worrying about, oh, he's not pro-life enough. And that's the case that Terry's making very convincingly. And the people at the White House Policy Office, et cetera, I mean, there's still a lot of pro-lifers there. So I know people were concerned when the platform changed and all this. But at the end of the day, this looks like a pro-life administration. And also, RFK, of course, is adding all these extra things that were never there before when it comes to basically making life better, being pro-life in a variety of ways when it comes to public health.